First, a warm welcome and a heartfelt wish for your good health and well-being. Please be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to the Proctor Mindset channel, and ring the notification bell. It's the best way to support the incredible dedication of our entire team, who put in countless hours of effort, heart, and soul to bring you these videos. We are so grateful for your unwavering support, which makes all of our hard work worthwhile. Have you ever considered that a single, repeated thought could destroy your life? Yes, just one. And the most absurd thing is that this thought might not even be your own. It could have been planted long ago by school, your parents, a past failure, or something you heard and never questioned. Now, imagine this thought repeating in your mind every single day, like an invisible poison. Does that sound exaggerated? Well, that's exactly what almost stopped me from achieving everything I have. Repetition. That's the secret most people don't see. And it's not because it's hidden, it's because it's too simple. The truth is, people don't believe that something so small, so seemingly insignificant, can completely transform their lives. But it does, and I am living proof of that. Most people think they need more information. They're always searching for the next big idea, the new course, the perfect mentor. And you know what happens? They consume, and stay in the exact same place. Because transformation doesn't come from what you hear once, it comes from what you rebuild within yourself every day until it becomes a part of who you are. You don't need more knowledge. What you need is a habit, a single, repetitive habit that is simple, yet so powerful it can reprogram your entire mind. And no, this isn't some cheap philosophy, it's neuroscience. Today, science has proven that the human brain is shaped by repetition. Every time you repeat a thought, a phrase, an action, you strengthen the neural connections associated with it. It's like walking across a lawn and always following the same path. Over time, that path becomes a trail, then a road, until you can only walk that way. The good news is, you get to choose what road you want to build. This is exactly what I did. I was a man broken inside and out, with no education, no prospects, and no idea how to get out of that hole. And then a friend gave me the book Think and Grow Rich and told me, Bob, just do what this book says every day. Don't argue. Just do it. And I did. Without understanding, without feeling anything at first. But I did it because deep down, I knew that staying where I was the worst alternative of all. Every day, I repeated affirmations out loud, even while cleaning floors. Even when I was exhausted, I visualized, I mentally trained myself because I understood that it wasn't about changing the job, it was about changing the person doing the job. I stopped waiting for the perfect scenario. I stopped thinking that the environment had to change for me to change, and I started transforming the environment inside of me. Most people think, when I get that job, then I'll be motivated. When I make more money, then I'll believe in myself. When I'm recognized, then I'll take action. But this reverses the natural order of things. You must act first, repeat first, be the new version of yourself first. And then the world responds, because the world doesn't give you what you want, it gives you what you are. Now, stop and think with me. How many destructive thoughts have you already repeated today? I'm not good enough. This won't work. No one supports me. It's too late. That, too, is repetition, but of the wrong kind. It's like taking a drop of poison every day and then wondering why your health is deteriorating. And here's a detail that few people understand, the subconscious questions nothing. It simply accepts. It doesn't distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. So if you repeat, I'm a failure, even in jest, your subconscious absorbs that as a truth. Now, if you say, I am prosperous. Money comes to me in harmony with my purpose. I deserve to live an extraordinary life, and you do this every day with intention, with emotion, with presence, you are rewriting your internal code. And when the code changes, the results change. During the first few years of my transformation, I listened to the same Earl Nightingale audio more than 1,000 times. It wasn't just any motivational audio. It was a profound truth, repeated until it became a part of me. There was a phrase that said, "We underestimate what we are capable of doing, and for some strange reason, we believe that others can, but we can't." This accompanied me in silence. And one day, in the middle of an event, without warning, that phrase hit me like an arrow. It was as if everything suddenly made sense, as if for the first time, I had woken up to myself. And I cried. I cried because I had finally understood. Repetition had planted a new root in me, and that's when a new man was born. Have you ever had such an experience? When something you've heard 1,000 times suddenly becomes alive inside you. That's the effect of repetition. It transforms information into understanding, and understanding into action. And action is what changes everything. But there's something you need to know. The majority of people fail to maintain this for 30 days. Not because it's difficult, but because they don't believe it has power. People think that what is simple doesn't work, that what is easy doesn't solve anything, and that's why they remain prisoners. They prefer the complexity of failure to the simplicity of transformation. So, I ask you, would you be able to repeat the same phrase for 30 days, every day upon waking and before sleeping? Something like, "I am worthy. I am prosperous. I am capable." Simple, powerful, transformative. The majority would say yes, but few will do it because true transformation doesn't lie in the promise, it lies in the practice. If you truly want to change your life, don't look for another answer. Choose one truth and repeat it every day out loud, with emotion, with intention, with blind faith. And when you least expect it, the world around you will begin to change. But not because the world has changed, because you have changed. And the world has simply responded to your new vibration. This is the science of the mind in action, and that's where true power lies. Doubt is treacherous. It doesn't shout, it doesn't warn, it doesn't knock on the door. It whispers. And the worst part is, it whispers in your own voice. It disguises itself as common sense, prudence, realism. And before you know it, you are aiming for a half-life, doing only what is safe, thinking only what is acceptable, dreaming only what seems possible. Doubt steals our dreams with our permission. And the worst part is, we don't even realize we are authorizing this theft because it happens subtly. It's camouflaged as logic. At the beginning of my journey, I was a complete unknown, with no education, no money, no advantage. I was cleaning floors. I had no support network or history of success to give me confidence. There was only me and doubt. And the decision I had to make every day was, do I believe in it, or do I trust the process? As crazy as it may sound, I chose to trust without proof, without guarantee. Even with that voice telling me, "Bob, this is a waste of time." But there was another voice, small, timid, almost imperceptible, that said, "Keep going." And I held onto it like someone clinging to a rope in the dark. Not because I was sure of what would happen, but because I couldn't stand the life I was living anymore. And do you know what the result was? Clarity came, direction came, and my self-esteem returned because doubt, when it dominates, erases even the way you see yourself. You start to feel small, incapable, insignificant. But confidence, even timid at first, brings you back to yourself. It reminds you who you truly are, beyond the fears, frustrations, and failures. I often say that doubt is the invisible poison of success, and it is because it prevents you from acting. And without action, there are no results. And without results, there is no proof of progress. And without progress comes frustration, despair, the feeling that life is stagnant. Now, be honest. How many decisions have you not made for fear of being wrong? How many ideas have you abandoned because you thought you weren't capable? How many opportunities have you let pass because you thought, "I'm not ready"? You are not alone. Doubt is universal. Everyone feels it. But what differentiates those who move forward from those who stagnate is a single thing: action despite doubt. Look at Walt Disney, for example. He was rejected more than 300 times before he got funding to build Disneyland. 300 times. Most people would have given up after the 5th refusal. He didn't. He chose to believe in his vision more than in his fear. And that's why today his name lives on in the memory of entire generations, while no one remembers those who doubted him. And this leads me to one of the most important questions you can ask yourself now. What if you never try and spend your whole life imagining what might have happened? This question hurts more than any failure because the regret of not having tried is much heavier than the frustration of having tried and failed. I started applying the principles of wealth even when I was cleaning floors. I had nothing, but I had a step to take, and I took it. Then another, and another. Nothing glamorous, nothing grand, but it was what I could do, and it was enough. Maybe you're thinking right now, but I'm afraid. And I tell you with all the serenity in the world, that's normal, it's okay. Just don't let the fear be bigger than your desire. Fear can walk with you, but it must not take the wheel. The wheel must be in your hands because otherwise, you're going to live a life driven by doubts that aren't even your own, doubts inherited from your parents, from school, from society, from unresolved experiences. And the good news is, this can change. You can interrupt this cycle. You can choose to repeat confidence instead of repeating fear. You can reprogram your mind not with big leaps but with small commitments, with powerful phrases, with deliberate actions, with daily practice. I propose something simple to you. For 14 days, choose a phrase that strengthens you. It can be, I trust myself, or I am capable of creating my reality. Repeat this phrase 50 times upon waking and 50 times before sleeping. Make it a ritual. Don't question it. Don't analyze it. Just repeat it. You'll see that over time, doubt loses its strength, and your confidence starts to shout for you. This is the first step towards your freedom because once doubt weakens, your true potential begins to appear. And my friend, when that happens, nothing can stop you. Have you ever caught yourself trying to please everyone? Trying to be the ideal version that others expect of you? Perhaps you act one way at work, another at home, and a different way with your friends and on social media, a totally different character. And the most curious thing is that over time, you start to believe that this is normal, that this multiplicity of masks is part of adult life, of friendliness, of good manners. But I'm going to tell you something that might hurt. Every time you choose not to be yourself, you move a little further away from your freedom. Modern psychology has already proven that one of the main causes of anxiety and depression today is the disconnection from our true selves. People living lives that do not reflect their essence. People trying to fit into unattainable standards. People who are afraid to displease, to seem out of place, to be judged. And this fear hides under the guise of prudence, maturity, or even humility. But deep down, it's a prison. And the consequence of this is a void that is difficult to explain. A hole in the chest that cannot be filled with money, or recognition, or status. Because none of that fills the absence of the self. You can be surrounded by successful people, by apparent success, and yet you feel alone, incomplete, lost because the pain of disconnection is silent but profound. For a long time, I tried to fit in, to be what was expected of me, to speak in the appropriate way, to behave as I should. And inside, I felt smaller and smaller. Even if I had something precious within me, I sabotaged myself because I believed my truth was not enough, that if I showed who I really was, people would leave. And that prevented me from speaking, from taking a stand, from acting with authenticity. How many times have you wanted to say something but remained silent to avoid a conflict? How many times have you swallowed a dream because someone laughed? How many times have you pretended to agree just so you wouldn't be the one who's different? This, my friend, is suffering, suffering disguised as a routine. And healing doesn't come from the outside. It begins when you decide to stop hiding, when you look in the mirror and say, enough. I'm going to be who I am, without arrogance, without aggression, but with truth, with respect for your essence. I'm not telling you to go out and shout your opinions or defy everyone. I'm telling you to go back inside and ask yourself, what do I really believe? What do I really want? What makes me vibrate? Because that's where your strength, your authenticity, your voice lies. When you start to allow yourself to be who you are, something changes in your environment. The right connections start to appear. The right doors open, the right opportunities arrive because life always responds to truth. And authentic people are magnetic. They inspire confidence, they transmit security without even trying. That's why that moment with Bill Gove changed everything for me, because he gave me permission to be me. And more than that, he showed me that it was by being myself that I could be free. And that decision to learn how to speak, to take a stand, to share my truth led me to the stage, to the books, to the programs that now touch millions. But it all started there, at the back of a room with a simple thought: I'm not going to hide anymore. Most people don't live a full life because they try to live a life that isn't theirs. They work in jobs they hate. They maintain relationships that drain them. They follow routines that make them sick, and all of this to maintain an image, an illusion, a character that is difficult to maintain and brings no peace. You no longer need this. You have the right and the duty to be who you are, with your flaws, your talents, your truths, because that's where your wealth lies. There is no one in the world with your unique combination of experience, learning, and intuition. And that's what makes you necessary, irreplaceable, precious. When you allow yourself to be whole, your life changes frequency. You go from survival to creation. You stop reacting and start commanding. And there, the world recognizes you because finally, you have recognized yourself. This is true freedom, the one that starts from within, and no one can give it to you. Only you can grant it to yourself, and when you do, nothing stops you from prospering. How many times have you started something with enthusiasm, and a few days later, you just stopped? This could be a new diet, an online course, a financial change, a study routine. At first, it seemed possible, even motivating. But the motivation disappeared, and the old routine returned. This happens so often that many people start to believe they are not made for success. But the truth is different. The problem isn't you. It's the system you're using, or rather, its absence. I experienced this several times. I would read a book, go to a seminar. I would feel on top of the world. But 2 or 3 days later, everything would return to normal until I understood motivation is what pushes you, but only discipline keeps you going. And discipline comes from repetition. It's the daily practice, especially on the days when you don't feel like practicing, that builds what remains. Your brain works through habits. It records what is repeated with consistency. It's like walking on grass. If you always take the same path, a trail forms, and that trail becomes your automatic behavior. That's why you need repetition, structure, and consistency. Michael Jackson understood this. Even at the peak of his career, he repeated the same dance steps for hours and hours because he knew that excellence is not a gift, it is practice. It's a method, and this applies to everything: wealth, health, relationships. You want to change your life? Don't change your mind every week. Change what you repeat. I created 6 Minutes to Success for exactly this reason. It's not about motivating you, it's about installing a new model, a new rhythm, a new identity, because true transformation happens in the invisible, in what no one sees, in the daily commitment, in the small choices, in what you decide to keep doing, even when the initial enthusiasm disappears. Maybe you're just one habit away from a new life. A simple ritual repeated with intention can activate a new level of consciousness and create lasting results. Most people fail not for lack of willpower but because they live by emotional peaks and never create roots. So, if you want a new destiny, create a new routine, a new rhythm, and repeat it, because when the new model is installed, the world around you will align with the new you, and then everything will truly and forever change. Your results don't come from what you do from time to time, but from what you repeat every day. The right habit, practiced with intention and discipline, has the power to completely rewrite your identity and, with it, your reality. And now, if you are ready to move up another level on your journey of evolution, the next video is already waiting for you. In it, we will go even deeper into your clarity, your consciousness, and your ability to become 1% better than you are now. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey.